Good morning. Today I want to talk to you about legally naming a guardian for your minor child or children. I know it's hard. Thinking about someone else raising your children stops us all in our tracks. It feels crushing and too horrific to consider, but you must. If you don't, a stranger will determine who raises your children if something happens to you. Your child's guardian could be a relative you don't like, or even a stranger you've never met. And no one will ever be you or parent exactly like you, but there is someone who could provide for your children's general welfare, education, and medical needs. Parents with minor children need to name someone to raise them, a guardian, in the event that both parents should die before the child becomes an adult. While the likelihood of that actually happening is slim, the consequences of not naming a guardian are more than intense. If no guardian is named in your will, a judge, a stranger who does not know you, your child, or your relatives and friends will decide who will raise your child. Anyone can ask to be considered, and the judge will select the person that they deem most appropriate. Families tend to fight over children, especially if there's money involved, and worse, no one may be willing to take your child, and if that happens, the judge will place your child in foster care. On the other hand, if you name a guardian, the judge will likely support your choice. Now here are some tips on how to choose a guardian. Your child's guardian can be a relative or a friend, and here are some factors that our clients have considered when selecting guardians and backup guardians. How well the child and potential guardian know and enjoy each other. Their parenting style, their moral values, educational level, health practices, and religious and spiritual beliefs. Location is important too. If the guardian lives far away, your child would have to move from a familiar school, friends, and neighborhood, and that can be difficult. Also, the child's age and the age and health of the guardian candidates are of concern. Grandparents may have the time, however, they may or may not have the energy to keep up with a toddler or a teenager. It all depends. An older guardian may become ill or even, unfortunately, die before the child is grown, so there would be a double loss. A younger guardian, especially a sibling, may be concentrating on finishing college or starting a career. It's also important to consider emotional preparedness when thinking about who to serve as the guardian of your children. Someone who is single or who doesn't want children may resent having to care for your children. Someone with a house full of their own children may or may not want more around. And here's a particular warning. Serving as a guardian and raising your child is a big deal. Don't spring such a responsibility on anyone. Ask your top candidates if they would be willing to serve, and name at least one alternate in case the first choice becomes unable to serve. It's also to think about who's in charge of the money that may be left behind. Raising your child should not be a financial burden for the guardian, and a candidate's lack of finances should not be the sole deciding factor. You'll need to provide enough money from assets and/or life insurance to provide for your child. Some parents also earmark funds to help the guardian buy a larger car or add on to their existing home, so there's plenty of room for extra children. Here's some other factors to consider. Naming a separate person to handle the money can be a good idea. That person would be a guardian of the estate or a trustee, but not guardian of the children. However, having the same person raise the child and handle the money can make things simpler because the guardian would not have to ask someone else for money. But the best person to raise the child may not be the best person to handle the money. And it may be tempting for them to use this money for their own purposes. Compromise will likely be necessary. Naming a guardian is a difficult decision for most parents. Keep in mind that this person will probably not raise your child because odds are that at least one parent will survive until the child is grown. By naming a guardian, however, you're being responsible and you're planning ahead for an unlikely yet possible situation. It's important to realize that no one besides you will be the perfect parent for your child. So typically, this means making compromises in some areas. Select the person that you think will do the best. Let's continue this conversation. We know it's not easy, but don't let that stop you. We're happy to talk this through with you and legally document your wishes. And know that you can change your mind and select a different guardian anytime you'd like. And keep in mind that the chances of needing the guardian named in your will is slim. But you're a parent, and your job is to provide for and protect your children. So let's do this together. Call our office now for an appointment, and we'll get your children protected. Thank you, and have a great day.